Okay, I had to kick him. Sorry, he was probably off. So we are here with the two leaders of the AFIA Guild. They have some cool announcements to make. They have been building something for the community. So I will let you guys please tell us what have you been building.
Thank you very much, Santi. Yeah, so we have noticed a considerable uptick in the amount of Star Atlas enthusiasts joining us the last few days, and I would say also weeks. We've got together and we had an idea for some time. And we figured this is really the optimal moment to really push that and put some effort in and get things ready. So Prometheus, perhaps you want to elaborate a bit on this?
Sure. So without further ado, we are launching a Star Atlas wiki. Funcracker should have published a Medium article about that. Do you want to maybe drop it in Town Hall channel?
Drop it in the Town Hall channel. So you hear it right, guys. We got the first Star Atlas wiki. It's going to be all community run, correct?
Absolutely. We welcome input from all the members of community to help expand collection and quality of the articles. We put some basic stuff there with descriptions of all of the posters, with tokens, but of course we are planning to add much more content there, and we think this will be a great educational and helpful source of information for community.
For sure, no doubt. It's super helpful, and yeah, we really need it. Thanks, Guy, for building it, and let's see how it goes. Thank you very much, as always.
And thank you for giving us the time to make this announcement at the beginning of the town hall. So yeah, we would love to see community members join us and extend this over the coming weeks. If you have any questions, please ask them to Prometheus or myself. And of course, check out the article. It's in the Town Hall channel, and we'll also make sure it's published a bit later in the different channels as well. Thanks for the time, Santi.
Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, let's wait for Michael to join until we officially start the town hall.
Hello, hello, hello. I feel like I should do like an "Are you ready?" But I'm not as good at that as Marlon Bassjackers. Big thanks to those guys for putting together that audio we were just listening to. Can we just play that for 2 more minutes, Mate? Can you just throw that on for 2 minutes here? Get everybody hyped.
Let's invite Mate. Let's go.
This is Bassjackers, Star Atlas, official launch party. Are you ready? Let's go.
think what Star Atlas is rendering is a cosmos in which we can explore, in which we have agency. We finally get to go into galactic.
Nice.
When we dream of space, we dream of transcendence.
Thank you, Mate.
Nice.
Awesome way to kick it off. Santi, it looks like you've been busy this month, man. These couple weeks.
Yeah, man.
We've got an entire top row of server boosters. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for putting the wiki together. Super cool. Love the community engagement. And geez, 335 people in here right now.
Yeah,
Definitely
insane.
breaking records.
Breaking records today. Yeah.
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 Amazing.
Okay, so, yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. The support we are seeing from you guys, it's absolutely amazing. We want to thank you all. Like it's just incredible. It's just incredible, and we are just getting started, right, Michael?
That's absolutely right.
Okay, so let's get started here. For the people who doesn't know what this is the Star Atlas Town Hall. We ask questions to Michael, CEO, and we let you guys ask questions live. And this is the best place to be up to date with everything that's happening around Star Atlas and its world. So yeah, let's kick things off. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, let's go, man. So and just whenever possible, we do get Danny Floyd up here as Chief Product Officer. We get Pablo Quiroga up here who's Chief Revenue Officer. The only guy we haven't been able to pull on stage is Jacob. Jacob Floyd is our Chief Technology Officer, and we'll have to get him in maybe on the next one as we approach the launch of the minigame. So
Sure. Prepare,
yeah.
Jacob.
I don't even know if he's out there. I see Danny out there today. We'll pull him on stage just for a couple of questions. Obviously, a lot on his desk right now that he's managing. You guys see that, all the content that's coming out. But Santi, how about I just kick off with, since we have so many new people in the channel today, we'll just kick off with a little refresher of kind of past successes, a little bit of where we are currently, and then we'll discuss just briefly where we're going and what we have on the roadmap for August.
Yeah, man, sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah, guys. So, as stated, the four leadership members that I just mentioned, we went on to co-found Star Atlas in mid 2020. We started assessing really at that time what protocol we wanted to use. Started doing some game design and development pre-work. And went on to secure our seed round with FTX and closely collaborated with Project Serum, Alameda Research, and Solana Protocol. During that time, we made our formal announcement in January of this year. We went on and executed some private sales to capitalize the business and launched our rebirth campaign in April of this year as well, April 24th. And I think a lot of you are discovering the posters right now. We've seen an enormous amount of activity behind that. But the purpose and intent for rebirth was really to deliver the initial experience out to you all, our followers, our supporters, and future gamers within Star Atlas. And so it was a 14-week campaign. We rolled out a new poster every week. In that process, we were unveiling or revealing the lore and background, the story of Star Atlas, which takes place in the year 2620. Each one of those meta posters or multimedia posters were accompanied by an audio soundscape for which we partnered with some mainstream musical talent that includes Bassjackers, who created this custom piece for us that we just opened up with today, with Blondish, with Ricky Desktop, Suika the Child. We finished the poster set with Deadmau5. And so really fantastic collaborating with some of those artists and looking forward to hosting some more events such as in-game conferences, concerts or music festivals going into the future. But really great relationships there. So happy to have worked with those guys. And on top of that, we partnered with Shape Immersive to develop out augmented reality experiences that overlay the posters. And so the idea was to not only tell you the story, but give you an immersive experience, give you something to get your hands on, and then also reward you for your early support. So very happy to say that we sold over $6 million worth of posters. I just saw a post today in our Telegram, and I'm sure they've been posted in Discord. But it looks like the current market cap of the posters is 27 million. So we think that that's quite encouraging, demonstrating some of the growth of the community and the interest in this initial product that we developed out. So that campaign closed on July 24th. That takes us up to August 4th, where we rolled out full market support for buying and selling with displays for the order books, and which really greatly enhanced the liquidity of these markets as well. It simplified the process for users to be able to transact in these NFTs, these true assets that you guys will own forever or trade to somebody else for monetary value at some point in the future. Big kudos to the engineering team. Those guys have been grinding nonstop, really since February. We started going full steam into everything, but big kudos to them for rolling out that feature. And that kind of takes us up to the current date, where we have a couple of major events coming up real soon. So the first of which, and highly anticipated, is the release of our game economics and tokenomic document. So you all on the call will actually be the first to get the alpha leak, which is that document. Leak it. That document will be dropped on August 17th. So Tuesday of next week, you guys will have full access to all of the information related to various gameplay pillars, gameplay mechanics, how you generate revenue, different career paths you can take and specializations you can take, generally how the game functions and how you receive financial rewards from the game. But then it also goes into a general tokenomic or otherwise token economic model, which is what tokenomic is really short for, is understanding how utility and value accrues to each one of the tokens. So how you use Atlas as an in-game transactional currency, and what powers you will have as a Polis owner, which controls the Polis DAO. Some really super interesting hierarchy that we've developed out into the game that creates that functionality for Polis, not only externally, where players will be able to influence the future of game development within the Star Atlas metaverse, but ultimately go on to initiate changes through a proposal and voting system that include feature releases, asset release schedules, general economic information like inflation schedules, as well as distribution schedules or otherwise yield or revenue based on staking and being a Polis governance operator. Within the game, we also have a multi-tier system. I'm not going to leak that right now. You've got 4 days, and you'll see it all outlined in the white paper, the tokenomics and game economic white paper. But yes, that's coming out on the 17th. We've already announced that we are moving forward with our token generation event, the date for which will be announced very, very soon, but it is coming up before the end of the month. We're working with FTX for the IEO process, and then we have 2 satellite launch pads, including Apollo X and Radium. Many of you that are familiar with the Solana ecosystem will know Radium quite well. Also really looking forward to being able to create a couple of fusion pools with them. So as you're staking and providing liquidity in the AMMs for Atlas and Polis and Radium, amongst some other assets, you'll actually be able to earn yield in multiple tokens. So earn yield in USDC, earn yield in Radium, earn yield in Atlas, as well as in Polis. Apollo X is really interesting, and this was Apollo X approached us with a very novel concept, which is a transformation of the way that these launchpad services operate. And so the reason we selected them is that they are also developing out virtual world experiences that allow users to get more engaged and more enveloped in the actual launch process. And so once again, the audio that was playing as we kicked off the call today, produced by Bassjackers, as well as audio from another DJ that will be performing, will all come together in a Star Atlas launch party. And we actually have groups around the world that are creating launch parties for this date right now. And they'll be streaming this virtual experience that people can immerse themselves in and kind of enjoy the kickoff of the Star Atlas tokens. Now, beyond that, we also have this new website coming out that we're extremely excited about. We think you guys are going to love it. We are launching a cinematic teaser trailer that will give you some idea of what the experience inside the fully immersive 3D world will look like, as well as kicking off our token generation event, or excuse me, the Galactic Asset offering, where you'll actually be able to buy ships and land and components and characters, and which will be usable in the minigame process. And then finally, the kickoff for the minigame, all coming up either at the end of the month or slightly thereafter. So a lot has been going on. It's been a really great year for us. Love seeing how many people are just joining now. And you know, just to Santi's earlier point, don't feel like you're late to the party. This is all just getting started. The Unreal Engine roadmap is, I would say, long, but I think we're going to surprise a lot of people in just how quickly we're able to roll that product out and start to allow people to engage in the, you know, the fully immersive world. So let me pause there, Santi, and maybe we'll get into some questions.
You went all over, like everything that we got. You already told, like awesome, incredible description of everything that has happened and everything that is going to happen. So I highly encourage you guys that you are in the audience to raise your hand if you have any questions for Michael. We will let you in. And yeah. Okay, so we have Funcracker here.
I thought you were going to tell me the call was over.
I was about to, man. You went over like every single point I have, like that I was going to ask you, like incredible. Thank you very much for the details, man.
Absolutely. Funcracker, a familiar face.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Hello, hello. Thank you very much. Thanks, Santi and Michael, for inviting me back on stage. I have a question. I'm not sure if you can answer it, but I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know. The posters, we will get badges, of course. That the snapshot date has been moved forward a little bit. The badges we will receive the day afterwards. Because those badges should somehow mean we can get the Atlas and Polis tokens easier or have a higher chance? Or can you elaborate a little bit on what you do know about this at this point and what we can expect? And also, as a question B, it was mentioned in the article, in the announcement, that the Rebirth badges come with this benefit, but the Armstrong badge was left behind. And I think a lot of people would like to know if that badge will also somehow give them an advantage during the token sale.
Yeah, great questions. That might have been an oversight, just not including the Legends poster set, but yes, we will work Armstrong badge into that as well. Maybe another little alpha leak here. For one of the services, we might be including poster ownership overall. So not just the badges, but if you own posters at all, that's going to contribute to the advantages that you get. We will be releasing communications around the exact structure and the exact benefits, and also how to participate in each one of these TGE venues that we're utilizing. I would also encourage you to go out and look at Apollo's site. I know they've been tweeting about it and posting information about what their process looks like and how it works. They're based on the paid token, so you know, in every case, somewhat unfortunately, but in every case, you will have to have one of the underlying protocol tokens to participate. So paid in the case of Apollo X, Radium in the case of Accelerator and the Radium Launchpad, and then FTT in the case of FTX. So those will be required. With respect to your initial question, it's a little bit complex and probably too much to clarify all right here in the call, but in essence, they all have different mechanics in how you can participate. Apollo X is first come, first serve. FTX and Radium are ticket-based or lottery-based systems, and so owning the badges or owning the posters, and in those cases, will just give you additional tickets. So higher chances of actually receiving allocation, and in many cases, you'll be able to win, you know, multiple tickets. More than one of your tickets can win at a time. So you can get a higher proportion of the allocation based on your badge and poster ownership. I will reveal on the Apollo X side, we're also carving out an exclusive pool, which is only going to be accessible to people that own posters or the badges. So there's an allocation strictly for our existing Star Atlas community, for which people cannot participate unless they have the posters and badges. So I'll probably leave it there for now. We will be releasing more information about this. We still have some time. So you'll have ample time to review the info and make a decision on which pool you want to participate in. But that's high level. And then one other point I will make here, I'm glad you brought the question up. We mentioned this morning, but because of the way blockchain works and because of the way that these decentralized exchanges work, if you have assets that are listed for sale on a decentralized exchange or unclaimed in your inventory, it is not in your possession. It does not count towards your total balance when we do the snapshot. So critically important that in advance of August 25th, you either close orders for posters that won't go towards your snapshot benefits, and also ensure that you're claiming anything that's left over in your inventory so that it exists in your wallet and we can accurately reward you with all of the bonuses that you should be receiving based on poster ownership.
Super, that is a very elaborate answer. Thank you very much, Michael. I will leave the
Always a
stage
pleasure.
for somebody else.
I actually have a question, Michael, more in-game related, that Christian Dragnell sent to me. He is the leader of the Interstellar Alliance. He's always here, but he can't join live to ask the question. So I will ask it to you. It's, will there be option to put password on a space station, jump points, or motherships to enter in them, similar like EVE Online?
Is this related to the ability to steal a ship, or was it password? Is that what you said?
Yeah, password.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to be able to steal your ship because the asset lives in your on-chain wallet, right? So we're not going to allow people to pirate ships from other people in most ordinary places. The only way that you can capture items or steal another ship per se is through that deep space exploration. Once again, because we have so many new people, we have 3 different factions in the game and then 3 different security zones within the game as well. Kind of a neutral space, which is the safe space where you can land and learn how to play without risk of being attacked by other players. Medium risk, where PvP does exist, but it's non-permanent death. And then what is essentially hardcore mode in our deep space regions where there is permanent death. And losing an engagement out in that region means that your NFT will be destroyed. Your hard-earned assets will actually be burned, and the other players will be able to capture some of those items from you. So, but generally speaking, no, nobody's going to be able to just take an item from you. I don't even know if that would be technically possible because, again, it lives in a decentralized wallet on-chain.
Okay, thank you, Michael. So let's let another person in. Let's switch more into in-game questions, if it's possible, because we already gave all the details. I don't know, Michael, if you have something else to say about the token sale or something that we should go over, but yeah.
No, let me see if we can get Danny up here for this. I did ask him if we could get him on stage.
Okay, so Michael. Okay.
I hit the
Michael left
wrong button.
stage. Yeah.
I hit the wrong button. I invited him up, so we'll see if he's around, and if so, he can hop on. Hey, Danny.
Around. Hey, Danny.
You guys.
We have been bringing up you here like quite a lot in the last town halls. Thank you for being here and for answering all the community questions. It is much appreciated, and I think I'm speaking in name of the whole community that we really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, actually, there was to the last question. I think we should have missions.
So I can hear you correctly. Michael, please confirm.
Yeah, we've got real bad audio, Danny.
You can't hear me?
Ah, that's
Okay,
better.
now we do.
Oh, I didn't change anything. Yeah, there's a component to the last question that I think we should, that I wanted to answer, which is like we should have some sort of permissions on gem points that are being built out and like space stations. Players can come in and refuel at or drop off cargo and use your services. I think if you own it, we should have some sort of permissions thing. But again, that's something that will be resolved through testing to see if that's fun or limiting or stuff like that. So I'm going to clarify that.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying, Danny. That is one of the monetization strategies for asset owners in the game, by the way. So if you own a space station, and on that space station you have a refinery deck, or you have a refueling station, or hangar bays, other players can come and request to utilize those, but they'll have to pay you rent or an expense in order to do so for providing that facility. So thanks, Danny, for clarifying there.
Okay, so we now have like 440 people live. It's absolutely insane. Thank you guys for joining today. It's insane. I will let someone else into stage. Sola and Luna, he is the winner. He or she is the winner of the last Atlationer, I believe. Congrats for winning the Atlationer, and welcome to stage.
Thank you very much, Santi. I just want to comment real quick. Michael and Santi, you guys done a fantastic job of just creating this great community here, especially at Discord. I'm just honored to be a part of it. Just really appreciate all the transparency you've had with everything. And Michael, I've kind of listened to almost every interview you've had so far. And what I've caught from that is, your mission statement and your motto here is you're trying to make basically everyone have a fair playing field no matter where they live. So as you probably know, with the token generation events, the US players are kind of limited in what they can do, especially on Apollo X and FTX. So I don't know if you guys had a solution for that to make a fair playing field for everyone for that event.
That one is a bit difficult to comment on. What I would say is, regardless of token ownership, there will be a fair playing field for everybody to purchase and own the assets in the game, and those assets will be producing revenue in the form of Atlas. So every monetary transaction within the Star Atlas metaverse is based in Atlas, whether that be an operating cost or an expense such as refueling a ship or repairing a ship, as well as all of the financial rewards, completing missions, mining and harvesting, and other forms of income that are derived, such as the ones I mentioned earlier as well, with owning an asset that other players utilize. They will have to pay in Atlas. So there will be ways to earn Atlas and Polis through gameplay and through other staking mechanisms. Again, a bit more difficult to discuss the other points there, but I think Radium is fairly open to everybody participating.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys' transparency.
Yeah, thanks so much for the question. Santi, let's try to get a question up here for Danny, product related. I don't know if we should have everybody, drop their hands for now, and then just raise your hand if you have a question specifically related to product or gameplay.
Yeah, I think it's correct. We went over like the token sale, and we will start to repeat. And so I think it's a good decision. We have Sistine raising his hand. He has been really active in the community lately. I invited you to stage, Sistine. Welcome to stage. How are you, man?
Sistine, thanks for your additional support in the channels. I've seen you quite active in Telegram and in Discord. So thanks for your additional help with managing and moderating the community.
He's helping a lot. You are muted right now, Sistine, so please ask the question you have.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, much love to the community, and I just really, just giving back to the transparency and all the things that I've been learning from both the Discord and TG community. So my question really is, in terms of the in-game, on the mini browser that will be launched, Michael, are we also planning to have that ready for mobile use already, or not yet? At least the initial launch. So that's my first question in terms of the mini game, and what are those limited activities in case it will be launched within the mobile space, but will it be limited when it comes to the activities the players can do? So that's my question, Sandy and Michael.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sistine. I can take that one. and we've seen this question arise quite a bit recently. And I think a lot of people are referencing what's going on with Axie Infinity, and big kudos to those guys as well. They've done a phenomenal job increasing their user base. Last I looked, it was over 650,000 daily active users, but it's probably closer to 1 million now. And we've seen the enormous success that the accessibility has created for them. With that being said, we really are developing for a different demographic, and that's not to say that we're excluding the mobile users and excluding users with lower hardware accessibility, but our immediate focus is on this AAA gaming experience. So that's where we're allocating resources and time right now. The minigame will live on into the future, so people that can't play the fully immersive UE version of this game will still be able to continue on and play in the mini browser. And then we actually just had a discussion about this morning. And the way that we're building this is very likely to be a progressive web app, which means that the same functionality that exists in the browser will also be playable on mobile. We might go that route, we might not go that route. That's yet to be determined, but we are thinking about it now and considering how we can ensure that we are inclusive to the entire global audience. And we do see the global population is really being the core demographic of this game in the long term. So we will be building for that, but just not immediately. And so web browser's coming out first, then you'll see Unreal Engine, and then we'll probably put some work into mobile application versions of this.
Thank you so much, Michael. Got that one.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the opportunity, Santi.
Thank you, Sistine, for your help around all the channels.
Much love, brother. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Thanks for the question. So yeah, again, while we have Danny up here, would really love to get a question or two for him just on product. I know there's a lot of questions out there. So if your hand's raised, please be prepared with a question for Danny.
Yeah, so William told in the chat that he has a question for Danny, so we will let him in. Welcome, William.
Yeah, hi. So my name is William. As you can probably tell, I'm pretty new to the community, but I saw what you guys were doing and it just clicked to me this is what I've been, this is the perfect thing that will be able to break, might be able to break crypto mainstream big time. So congrats on you guys, and I love the thought that's been put in. So my product question is, I have two. So the first one is just and more about Unreal Engine 5. You guys keep talking about building a product that will be in the long term. How are you guys able to upgrade to if there's a potential Unreal Engine 6 and engine changes? And is Unreal Engine 5 sort of a decision that's set in stone right now, or is there flexibility on perhaps the game engine?
Pretty deep into
We can't hear you right now, Danny.
Yeah, I can't hear you either.
Okay, let's wait until Danny fixes the mic.
Yeah, and then I can ask my other question as well.
Okay.
And then maybe I know there's been a lot of discussions about interoperability of NFTs and the metaverse. Bringing, for example, my CryptoPunks. I mean, I'm obviously not that rich into the metaverse to have to flex on it and to show a social status symbol or other stuff as well. Showing off cool art pieces that I bought off of OpenSea. How open will you guys be to bringing those stuff in, or will you guys keep a little bit more closed to fit this the space punk aesthetic? Because obviously you don't obviously want someone to buy a spaceship on OpenSea and then bring that model into here, because there is that spaceships have their own marketplace on Star Atlas.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Interesting. Just going back to your first question, yeah, we're pretty deep in Unreal, so we'll be able to switch at this point. But as far as upgrading good between versions.
We
You know,
can't hear you correctly, Danny.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know what's going on. I was just on
yeah.
a call right this, so this is really strange. Just
Okay, Michael. So if you have the answer to the other question, please go ahead.
Yeah, well, and maybe just to finish. Oh,
can you hear me now?
yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. It's weird. It worked perfectly fine for like the hour call before this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you guys missed, but yeah. So we're sticking with Unreal. Version upgrades in the same production aren't that big of a problem. Unreal's really good about that. Usually there's some bugs or some things that get deprecated, but they try to be very informative of what those are. And yeah, I haven't seen any major problems with upgrading. So if there is an Unreal 6, that'd be great. And should be no problem. Kind of missed the second question as I was fiddling with my hardware.
Yeah, it was more of like how well will Star Atlas play with outside NFTs, right? Because I know a big thing about the metaverse is, showcasing your NFTs or being able to use some of the NFTs that you buy from the outside, whether this is, flexing my, 100 ETH rock or flexing my CryptoPunk or that sort of experience. Like, how well would Star Atlas play with those NFTs? Will it be just like confined in certain areas, or I don't know?
Yeah, actually, I want to be as welcoming as possible for different NFTs from different universes into the big metaverse, right? There's still going to need to be some sort of conversion process. If it's just like a trinket that doesn't have any in-game value or in-game utility value, that's easier. Then all it is a matter of getting the asset into Unreal. Anybody can download it. It's free, right? So if someone were to create an asset in Unreal that's compatible with the engine, then we can just put it in the game. And if it's just cosmetic, that's pretty easy. But as far as like actual utility, like with ships and crew member and all that kind of thing, there's going to be pretty extensive pipelines, but we do want to share the pipelines that we're developing. So as we're developing, we're documenting everything. And at some point, I'd like to give that over to the community and provide sort of like a base visual standard, for people to meet. And then I can see a lot more stuff from other universes easily combining.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I mean, an interesting answer, and that answers things pretty well. My other one is just my last one. I promise. Is I know it's an issue with like these open universe games, but how do you guys try to try to keep deadlines in check and keep expectations in check? Because that's been an issue with, for example, Star Citizen. Like they set expectations like crazy, and then they also push back deadlines like crazy.
Yeah. One of the things with the early releases, we do want to give people like some heads up to the point where they can start doing some play to earn mechanisms, like the ship missions. It's one of our biggest push right now is to get this out. So people aren't just buying JPEGs like they are in Star Citizen, right? In Star Citizen, you buy a JPEG and you wait. There's no way to necessarily make money back from that. It's a time sink. It's a money sink, and those are traditional games. With this, we're in an interesting new territory where people can buy these and they actually own a piece of digital property, which could potentially earn you a return on investment. And so we're building the first releases. This first major release coming out in August, and then the next major release that will include ship missions. That will be the first time that you can actually take these JPEGs, these NFTs, and utilize them in a gameplay loop that gives you back rewards with more NFTs. So I think once we get to that point, the community is going to be much more, casual, I would say, about demanding future assets come as soon as possible. which gives developers some space to breathe and to really push the envelope on polish and making it a really fun experience. But I think with Star Citizen, it was all people in this space, at least who are crazy enough to build these gigantic products, have a very optimistic mindset, and so it's kind of like shooting for the stars and falling on the moon or something like that. So it's kind of forgivable, but another aspect of Star Citizen community is that they are backers of the project, and so the development team kind of has to listen to them pretty fiercely, because without them, then there would be no product. On our game, it's similar, but you own your property. It's not exactly the same as just putting money, giving it to developers, and then they build the game. It's kind of like this win-win scenario where we both win if we create the product that we put in the white paper and everyone saw and jumped into the game because they're excited about it. So there's one more aspect, which is we're not building a full simulator like Star Citizen is. Like you don't have to necessarily interact with every coffee maker in Star Atlas. I can see us cutting a lot of corners that Star Citizen wasn't able to do. They kind of put themselves in those corners, which is great. I think it's great that they're making that game with as much space simulation immersion as possible. But I think once we get version out and these gameplay loops are satisfying, what players expect from a game, then we can start putting those types of things in. But I want to get a game out first, just some sort of release where people can fully play these gameplay loops and start making rewards, and utilizing the NFTs that they purchased. So it's at the top of my thinking, and all the decisions I make are trying to get this released product out, and iteratively too, to even have smaller released products, so people can already start enjoying the game as soon as possible. But then once all that's out, we have plenty more runway to make this like a very immersive long-term thing. So that answers all the questions.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. And I love how thoughtful you are about the process. Oh my God, I'm like lying again. But how does the Unreal licensing work? Because I know the way that the current licensing is that they take 3% of your game profits or whatnot. How would that fit into like the model, and how do you guys pay for it? Because especially not as it's not traditional game publishing.
Yeah, totally. We knew about those costs going in, and just what they offered was just definitely worth it. Just because I think anyone not jumping on Unreal right now is going to be kind of left behind without these new advances in game development technology. But there also might be a chance, and I'm probably just getting ahead of myself, but I know Epic Games does a lot of deals with different companies to maybe waive that. I don't want to say anything now, but they're building similar things with the metaverse, so there might be some sort of interesting partnerships we can discuss in the future.
William, thanks so much, man. Great questions. Really appreciate you coming up.
Okay. Thank you also, Danny, for the details, as always, as we always say. I don't know, Michael, if you have any extra comments on that.
Yeah, I actually just not so much comments on that. I think one of the key takeaways for me is that, to Danny's comments, is that the traditional gaming model is the value exchange is entertainment and escapism, right? So you get to immerse yourself in a new experience, or an experience that takes you out of reality. In our case, not only do you get the benefits of escapism and entertainment, but you also get that property-based, true ownership economic model, right, that can actually pay you to play. So I think really well said, Danny. Thanks for that. I would actually love if you just took maybe a minute or two to describe to people some of the advances that are coming along with UE5 and how that's going to expedite our delivery schedule, and also how it reduces the technical requirements for the players.
Yeah, we want to hear that.
So I don't know if we announced this, but we just brought on another team. They've been here for 2 weeks, and they're really digging into the Unreal pipelines, especially for art, but also on the engineering side. But there's also been some information from Epic that came out that was pretty interesting, and one of the things was that Nanite supports 1 million polys is only 14 megabytes on your disk, which, if anyone knows, that's a huge revolution in the way polygons are compressed and the way they're displayed through virtualized geometry. Not only does that apply to high density cinematic level models, all traditional games that upgrade to Unreal 5 will also want to make their static meshes as nanite, because the way it handles overdraw and the way it compresses geometry, it's even going to make current gen games that switch to Unreal 5 and convert everything to nanite a smaller footprint. So which means like quicker downloads and less drop off of the player base if you release updates that are much smaller. People sometimes they get to a point where they have to update. They're like, well, I don't really play that game, so they just quit. So if it's a small update, that's the great things. And yeah, we also I think I talked about this on the last town hall, but anyway, one of the things I was also discussing in private with one of our team members was that Unreal Engine 5 should be able to work seamlessly too with consoles, and so the latest Xbox and PlayStation will work fine. So that level of hardware, I think, will be more ubiquitous in at least a year, 2 years. And so these kind of like optimizations that I think it'll be much more accessible as they get to full release of Unreal 5, which is also slated for next year. You see, there's one more aspect to that I wanted to say. Shoot, can't remember.
Those are great news, Danny. That we console are going to be available to play. It's great news.
Okay, I remember that. The thought. So, the Valley of the Ancient demo that came out is a small level. There's only one character in it, and then the monster character. And that was 100 points. What I realize now is most of that memory was used for textures, like 8K textures, pixel assets, was hard surface stuff, and it's mostly just like throwing a ton of polys. I think our footprint can actually be much smaller in certain areas, and then we use just a few of the textures for like noise patterns and like dirt and stuff like that using vertex painting. And they showed some of that recently, which is pretty exciting. So I think the Star Atlas use case is just almost perfect for this tech. Yeah, I'm super happy about it. Yeah, that was the last thing.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Danny is Chief Product Officer. Thanks, Danny. We'll let you get back to it, man. I appreciate you jumping up here for a few minutes to answer those questions.
All right, yeah, you bet. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. I just want to address one question quickly, Santi. Also discussed on the call today, but the question related to bridging between Ethereum and Solana so that people can move their OpenSea assets over. That's coming out in the next release, so we'll be real soon. Again, I don't want to put a hard date on it. But it'll be in advance of the snapshot for sure. It's going to be a pretty quick process. And we have all of the systems in place to facilitate converting your Ethereum-based asset into the Solana asset. So it should take you a minute or two to move everything over once we have it set up and coming soon.
Okay. Really nice. Yeah, this was something that's much needed, and then we are seeing these questions, the questions about the wormhole in the community like every day. So thanks, Michael, for clarifying that. And do you have time for one or two more questions, Michael?
Yeah, let's take maybe two more.
Okay. Let's let someone in. Scruffy. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hey guys, it's
We'll do
Scruffy
fine.
Balls. No. But yeah, the play to earn comes with a problem because using bots will be more lucrative to use. So I'm wondering if you have thought about mechanisms to combat bot usage, and how would this look like? Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this on previous town halls as well, but essentially the way that the economics are designed, there is a capital input requirement first and foremost to be able to utilize any type of bot, right? So if there's a fixed cost to be able to earn revenue, then you have to have the capital necessary to be able to earn that revenue. So that's the first obstacle for anyone that's botting. Secondarily, the reward structure of the game is designed in a finite manner. It's not infinite like in many MMOs. We don't have infinite inflation in the game, and rather the reward structure is divided out proportionally across different activities to take place in the game. So it's possible or likely that a specific activity would have diminishing returns over time based on completing that activity. So I would say those are the primary methods that we're using to combat, say, over harvesting. But at the same time, we're also not necessarily trying to prevent people from running multiple accounts or running bots on their account to perform a specific function. And in fact, some of the gameplay loops will essentially perform the same functions as a bot, so that you're not sitting there having to manage every single process yourself. We want to make this enjoyable, not a grind. So hope that helps, but I think more will be revealed as the white paper comes out.
All right, cool. So I won't be doing captchas in order to play.
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's great. Thanks for your answer, man.
You got it. Thanks, Scruffy.
Thanks for your question, bro. Okay, let's let someone else in. Serving, I think it's the correct pronunciation.
Oh my God. Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, all right. So my question, it was for Danny, but you'll be able to answer it just fine. It's a pretty easy one. It's about the faction, because I presume it's like one of the first things that you do when you join the game is you choose your faction. So like, will the factions have inherited stat buffs from just like being that faction or race? And
Yep.
could that have debuffs as well?
Well, they all have specializations. It wouldn't necessarily say debuffs, but there are advantages for joining one faction over another. But it all balances out in that triangular system that we've developed. And one of the reasons why we have 3 and not 2 factions is, is to create better game balance. Oh, Danny's up here.
Danny, yeah.
No, actually, no buffs or debuffs specifically. It's proximity to locations around the territory. So, for example, like there'll be some raw materials that are close to Mud, Oni, and Ooster, and they're different, and in a way that's like rock, paper, scissors. So those materials go towards crafting components, crafting ships, crafting modules, crew gear, and then you get like basically a buff by crafting those specific things with those specific materials. But technically anyone can just go around the territory and pick it up and craft it. It's just that travel time will take a lot longer than just being in that faction. So that's where the benefits come in. And then the types of materials that are in those areas go towards a specific type of play style, which is rock, paper, scissors. That's how that should work.
Wow, yeah, thank you for answering that question. I wanted to give you like an easy one, Danny, because I know how hard you're working. You're like a real MVP, one of my favorite Star Atlas devs, you know. But thank you.
Thanks, man.
I stand corrected. Thanks, Danny. Okay, let's do one or two more, Santi. We've got some time.
Yeah, we got Danny into stage again. Thank you, Danny.
I just had to clarify. It's a very specific game-related question, so wanted to make sure we didn't give out misleading information.
Nice, thanks. I'm inviting Bohemian to the stage. Please, Bohemian, accept and join. Welcome, Bohemian. You are muted right now.
Okay, there I am. Okay.
Yep.
Am I coming through fine?
Yep.
How you doing, Michael? Danny, Santi, thank you very much for taking my question. I have another easy one. It relates to claiming stakes and the auction process. Okay. Can you detail out the communication, how an auction will happen? How will the people be informed that an auction is happening? What time will they be given for them to go and put a claim stake at that location? How they're going to be informed where that that auction is going to happen? Time requirements for how long the auctions are going to run. Could you detail out that process? It's kind of vague in my mind. That's my question.
Danny, I'm not sure if you want to jump in here. Some of those processes are still yet to be worked out, exactly how that's going to work. Again, thinking about the feature rollout, we're focused on ship missions first. That's following faction selection, name securing, and leaderboards. And then we get into ship missions. Then we're getting more into mining territories and mining land and claim stakes and things of that nature. So, yeah, Danny, unless you want to comment anything additional on that, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we have preliminary ideas right now. Nothing set in stone, but I can kind of give what we're thinking. So, like Mike said, the actual Star Atlas 3D in-browser version of all the land and territories is not coming. It's actually the last phase of the minigame development. And that's when you're going to be able to go and find an exact location, drop down a claim stake, and then try to claim it. Until then, we still want to give some utility to owning claim stakes and mining buildings and space stations. And so we'll do this, what we're calling a pseudo-blind mining staking gameplay loop, which includes all the mining building, the space station building gameplay, and gives rewards. But it's not necessarily a strategic choice based on the location. Anyone who has a claim stake can begin the process. And then as far as like putting it out there and notifying the public, I'm imagining just some sort of notification board that, and this is when the Star Atlas is out, that something's being claimed. If you're in the area, you'll obviously see the claim stake, like the auction process has begun. So there'd be like different visual states of what that looks like. And then that initiates a 7 day, 1 week auction period for other people who might be interested in that territory or that land claim as well. But that's not, like I said, that still could be flexible and change over time. But we think that's kind of a fair way of going about it, instead of just immediately rewarding everyone or first across the line to get their claims. So I think that answers everything.
Perfect. Yeah, the very important point that you brought up is that we're not going to see a full claiming an auction process until the end of the minigame, right?
Yeah, exactly. So until
Okay.
then, you'll still have some way of earning through the mining gameplay loop, but yeah, those claim stakes won't be totally realized until the actual Star Atlas drops into the browser minigame.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time and your answer. Thank you, Santi.
bet.
Back to you.
Thank you, Bohemian. And by the way, just maybe, again, not wanting to put any hard dates on anything, but we would anticipate many of these features or all of these features to be delivered in the minigame by the end of the year. I see a couple of our engineers in the audience. Hopefully they don't hate me for that comment, but we do expect these features to be rolling out iteratively and relatively frequently. So there's going to be new experiences that you can engage in with frequency as you're playing the Star Atlas minigame.
Okay.
We'll just try to temper those those expectations just a little bit. Speaking for the unheard right now, I think some of these major gameplay loops will be able to roll out before the end of the year. But if it does bleed into early next year, you know, I don't want anyone like crunching over Christmas break or anything.
We are going to make the Michael Lu team work with our comments here.
I'll await their feedback proactively on our next call.
Yeah.
So, well, Santi, yeah, we're at the top of the hour here.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to point out. We are over 400 people, and we are reaching the end of the town hall. Like, this is completely awesome. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for being here. We are super happy, and we really appreciate all the support that's coming from the community members. Like, it's absolutely insane. So, Michael, I don't know if you have time or any extra comments on this. So, if we are going to close here, I would like you, if you can give again like a debrief of what's coming into Star Atlas roadmap. It will be great to close.
Sure. Yeah, just a very quick recap and echo the sentiment there, Santi. Absolutely loving seeing the community grow and seeing all of the engagement and contribution. And that's a big part of not only the open source world, but the gaming world is this collaboration that exists outside of the gameplay itself. And the fact that we're seeing guilds form now and strategies form and wikis getting released and people posting information about posters and assets in the various communications channels, we sincerely appreciate it. It's as you can tell, we've got a heavy workload. Everybody's working overtime, double time to try to get this product out as quickly as possible. So sincerely appreciate all the support from everyone out there and just stepping up to help answer questions for all the new members. So let me start with that. But as a recap is, we launched our full buy-sell marketplace, fully functional decentralized exchange marketplace on the Star Atlas portal. That's at play.staratlas.com. Currently, you'll be able to see all of your collectible assets there, and in the very near future, you'll be able to see game assets as well. Coming up, we'll have the tokenomic and game economic white paper coming out. That's on the 17th. We've announced the IEO and IDO satellite launch pads on FTX, on Apollo X, and on Radium Accelerator. Dates to be announced very soon. Snapshot date coming up on the 25th. We'll also be rolling out the new website 3.0, as well as a cinematic teaser trailer that Danny and his team, through a collaboration, composed. And it gets me excited every time I see it, even when it was in the roughest sketch stages. So that's coming up. Minigame launch very soon, and the Galactic Asset offering, where you'll be able to buy land, ships, crew members, components, and start to deploy these assets in game and start to earn some revenue off of that gameplay. And then I guess the final piece of it is that we'll be opening up various DeFi functionality, such as liquidity pools and AMMs, so you can start to generate some residual yield off of your free floating or undeployed Atlas and Polis as well.
We're going to the moon, man. We are just getting started. Again, we are really early.
Yeah. So thanks again, everyone. This was another great town hall. Santi, I expect us to double again by next one. And thank you all for coming out, listening in, and all your support.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the community members who are helping out there, like answering questions and everything. Like we really appreciate all the effort that you guys are putting into Star Atlas. And thank you very much for assisting to this Town Hall. This was the Star Atlas Town Hall edition number 12. And thank you very much for being here.
Until next time, power to the people.
Stick it to the man.